All right, welcome. Today we are going to talk about something called the resonance effect. It's this really powerful idea about how you can become that person. You know, the one that everyone remembers long after a conversation is over?
So let's just jump right in with a question that I think, well, it gets to the heart of everything. Have you ever noticed this? Why is it that we instantly forget the person who brags all night about, say, their new job, but we just can't stop thinking about the person who barely said anything, but just listened? It's this weird social puzzle we all deal with, and trust me, the answer is probably not what you're thinking.
And that puzzle, it leads us right into our first big idea, which is something called the grand illusion. This is all about why that old playbook we all have, the one for trying to impress people, it doesn't just fail. It actually actively pushes people away.
Okay, so here's the real issue we're all up against right now. Think about it. We live in a world of filtered photos, perfectly curated lives. And because of that, our internal BS detectors have never been more sensitive. The second we feel like someone's putting on a performance, trying too hard, our brain doesn't think, wow, so cool. It thinks, nope, not buying it. And just like that, the connection is dead.
This really breaks it down into the two paths we can choose in, well, pretty much any interaction. On one side, you've got the old way, chasing status. That's all about talking, dominating, projecting this perfect image of yourself. But then, there's the other side, and it's so much more powerful, building connection. And that's all about listening, observing, reflecting. It's like one is a sparkler that fizzles out, and the other is a bonfire that keeps you warm.
So, okay, if the old way is broken, then what's the fix? Well, it's this concept called the resonance effect. You can think of it as the new science of making a real, lasting impact. Believe it or not, this idea comes straight from physics. Resonance is it's when one thing starts vibrating and it causes something else in your body to start vibrating at the exact same frequency. Now, in human terms, that's where the magic happens. It's about making your presence felt, but not by shouting about it. It's about genuinely getting on the same wavelength as the other person. You make them feel totally and completely seen. And this right here, this is what it's all about. This quote just hits the nail on the head. The point isn't for people to walk away thinking, wow, they are so great. The real goal is for them to walk away thinking, man, I feel great when I'm around them. See the difference? It's that feeling they remember. That's what resonance is.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually, do it? Well, that's what this next part is all about. This is your new toolkit. We're going to break down 3 really powerful techniques that you can literally start using today.
First up, we've got tool number 1, the mirror principle. This is a huge mental shift. From now on, your goal in a conversation is not to be interesting. Instead, you're going to focus all of your energy on being interested. You're basically becoming a mirror for them, instead of just a fire hose of your own stuff. So how do you actually become a mirror? It all comes down to the way you listen. Think of it in 3 levels. Level 1 is what most of us do. It's internal listening. You're just waiting for your turn to talk, right? Level 2 is better. It's focused listening. You're actually hearing the facts. But the magic, the real deep connection, that's at level 3, global listening. This is where you're not just hearing the words, you're picking up on the emotion behind the words. That's the game changer. Okay, our second tool is one of my favorites because it's so counterintuitive. It's called the pratfall effect, and it's all about the surprising power of being a little imperfect.
So this is actually based on a classic psych study from way back in 1966. Researchers found that when a super competent, impressive person made a simple mistake, like literally spilling coffee on themselves, people rated them as more likable than if they had been perfect. Why? Because that tiny flaw made them human. It made them relatable. It's like perfection puts up a wall, but a little imperfection builds a bridge.
And that brings us to our final tool. This one is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful, and it can completely change how people see you. It's called the wait method. Here's how it works. It's called the 3-second rule. The next time someone asks you a question, especially a tricky one, I want you to fight that urge to answer right away. Instead, just pause for a full 1, 2, 3 seconds before you say anything. That tiny pause does so much. It tells people you're thoughtful, not just reactive. It gets rid of all those ums and uhs, and instantly you come across as calm, confident, and in control. So when you start putting all these tools together, the mirror principle, the pratfall effect, the wait method, they do more than just help in a single conversation. They actually build something much bigger. They help you forge the resonance mindset. And that's all about making that shift from performing for people to just being present with them.
This chart really sums it all up, doesn't it? Look at the difference. The old way, the try-hard way, is waiting for your turn to speak. But the new, resonant way, it's asking that great follow-up question. The old way of showing confidence was to dominate the space. The new way is to make other people feel comfortable. It's a total flip of everything we've been taught about making a good impression.
And this really brings us to the core idea, and it's a bit of a paradox, but it's so important. The goal isn't to be the most impressive person in the room. It never was. The true goal is to be so grounded and so present that you actually create a space for other people to see how great they are. You're not a spotlight, you're a mirror for their potential.
So, what does this all mean? It means we're left with this one powerful call to action. It's time to forget all those old rules about trying so hard to be impressive. Honestly, they just don't work anymore. It's time to stop performing and start resonating. That's the whole game. So here's my challenge to you. In your very next conversation, just try it. Focus only on that. See what happens.